Hello, Jen here. I have a layout today, two layouts actually, that I did as guest designer for SpiegelMom Scraps. So they're both traveler's notebook layouts, and this is still me working in my notebook insert from our trip. So you can see here I'm just playing around with some mists. I used that Shimmer's Chickadee Yellow, and now here's some blue, and that's just a reflections mist. And I used that stencil that I showed you right at the very beginning. I didn't use it as a full stencil, but I used just little bits of it because I thought it kind of reminded me of clouds. And these two layouts are about our couple of days that we spent in New Brunswick, and it was really nice and beautiful, and blue skies, and I just thought that would make a nice background. So the blog post that I did for SpiegelMom Scraps this week is kind of talking about finishing projects, or thinking about all of those unfinished projects that we start and then kind of just let go. And it's inspired by a question that was asked in a Facebook group that I belong to. I think it was Tanya and Arit's group, actually, but I'll leave the link to it down below. Anyways, they were talking about how many unfinished projects do you have, and I really do have a lot. And thankfully, that was sort of the overwhelming response, so I'm not alone. But it really did sort of make me think that these inserts that I've been working on for my trip definitely have the potential to become unfinished projects if I didn't buckle down and take the time to do them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on them a little bit here and there every day. Because they're a little bit of a smaller project, I can kind of leave them out. I know I talk quite a bit about the fact that I don't have a scrap room, and so I'm kind of stuck in this position of pulling my stuff out but then having to put it all away again. I can't leave it all out in my living room. But these little projects, these little mini albums and things like that, they're a lot easier to keep out. So that's my plan, and hopefully we will get it done. Not hopefully, we will get this done. So you can see here that I have a few pictures that I've printed out, again with my zip, my little Polaroid zip. So on the first page, I've put my little stamp of the province just to show that we're now in New Brunswick. And the first stop that we made there was Heartland Bridge, so I have a few pictures of that bridge. It's the world's longest covered bridge, so it was kind of neat to go through. The kids thought it was kind of cool. So I have 3 of those pictures on one side, and then on this other side I have a picture up here from Reversing Falls, and that's in St. John. And then the picture on the bottom is the red chairs. So everywhere we stopped at the national parks, we tried to take some pictures with the red chairs. It's a Parks Canada thing that actually started in Grossmoor National Park, which is in Newfoundland, and throughout the Maritimes, and I think maybe coming into some of the other provinces at really nice picturesque spots, you can find these red chairs, and it's just sort of an invitation to sit down and relax and enjoy the view. So along our drive on the Bay of Fundy trail, we found some red chairs, so of course we had to stop. And I'm so happy we did stop, because we found some people who recognized our license plate from Alberta, and they happened to be from Regina, which is close by us in one province over. And so we had a really nice long chat, and I loved that along our trip we were able to meet people and connect with people like that. So I matted that red chair picture with some red, and this is just a card that came in the Traveler's Notebook kit that I got from Paper Issues. And and I wanted to be able to pull some more of that red onto the other side. So I'm sort of piecing together all of the leftovers from that initial mat, and I get almost all the way around this picture of the bridge with just a little spot down in that bottom corner that isn't covered, and I'm okay with that because I'm going to put some embellishments there anyways. And those little, well, I guess it's just one little sort of speech bubble that I cut in half, and then this little tag here that you can see me putting down. Excuse me. It's early in the morning and I haven't quite got my voice yet. I guess that's more like a book, the book, I don't know what they're called, book plate. Anyways, those also came from the kit. And I'm sort of partially just trying to use up the stuff in the kit. I want to make sure that it actually gets put into layouts instead of just sitting in the bag not getting used. But also I just sort of wanted to scatter around a little bit of color here and there. Excuse me. And then of course I have that acetate, and the round one that has the compass says things like journey and stuff like that, and then that other one actually just says arrival and departure. But I wanted to bring some of that sort of rose gold into both sides, so it's okay that it doesn't, it's sort of referencing a flight, but it's still travel themed. And now I'm just going to flip over because my goal is to try and do 2 layouts for every province. There might be 3 layouts, but I am trying to remind myself that I'm also going to do more of a project lifestyle album that just has all of the pictures that I took. So it'll have a little bit less journaling, but it'll have more of the pictures and the ephemera that I have. So I don't want to, or I guess it's not that I don't want to, I don't really need to put every picture into this journal. This is mostly just to sort of represent the trip and be able to reflect on the stuff that we did and do a little bit of journaling. So for these 2 pages, this is more just from the couple days that we spent in New Brunswick. Up at the top is St. Martin's Caves. So that is along the Bay of Fundy, and when the tide is out you can actually go right into these caves, and then of course when the tide comes in they are underwater caves. So it's kind of neat. The kids really loved it, and it's not always a sort of hot spot on tourists' minds. I don't hear it talked about that often, but it's definitely worth the trip if you're headed out that way. The picture underneath is from the little town of Alma, which we always stop at. It's just this cute little town, but you can catch the lobster fishermen coming in, and that's always fun for the kids because they pull out all the hermit crabs and stuff like that from their nets, and then the kids can go and watch and get to experience it, so that's kind of cool. On the other side I have Hopewell Rocks up at the top, and we got there nearing the end of the day, so the tide was starting to come back in, and I think that is probably the best time to go for us, because it meant that we actually got to watch the tide come in. So we walked all the way down the steps, 101 steps all the way down, and got to stand on the ocean floor, got to experience seeing the seaweed and stuff on the rocks that's taller than we are, and we were there for probably 10 or 15 minutes, and then as the tide started to come in a little bit quicker, we also got to experience just how quick that is and how amazing it is that suddenly where we were just standing is now 3 feet underwater and then 5 feet underwater. So it was kind of cool to be able to experience it at that point. And lastly, the very bottom set of pictures is where we stopped for the night. So we actually did all 3 of these things in one day. It was a busy day, but we stopped for the night in Shediac, and I have family that live in Moncton and close to Shediac, so we love going there. And again, it's just this really sweet little Acadian town, and they have their big lobster, so I have the picture of the big lobster that we went to. And the kids love climbing all over it. So those frames that I'm using are from Pink Paisley's Summer Lights collection. I absolutely love the bright colors and the summer themes and the vacation themes. So I'm trying to use up as much of it as I can in this book. Even here I'm using some scraps just to pull in those bright colors. And I like that they kind of help to boost my pictures a little bit, because I haven't been taking the time to edit every single picture before printing it out, and I find that my zip printer doesn't boost the colors very well, so the colors come out sort of dull, and I'm okay with that because it's consistent throughout the book, but I like that I can use this really bright collection to sort of give a little bit more of a pop in contrasting color, because really the skies were nice and bright and blue, and the ocean was bright blue color. The greens were really green, so it's nice to bring in some of that saturated color. And I actually got bits and pieces of this collection from the Traveler's Notebook kit that I have, and then I did also buy the die cuts myself. So it's nice to be able to sort of pull elements and repeat them throughout the album. So I'm just going to sort of fiddle around with all of these pictures, these little pockets of pictures. And I want to make sure that I have cute little details sort of spread out throughout all of them. So this is a tag that says "Let's Go." And that is the picture of the big lobster in Shediac. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of put that down. And each little cluster, I guess, of photos represents something that we did with enough space for me to do some journaling. So here I'm going to use just that bottom half of the leftovers. I think two little seashells came out of that. But I really liked the border because it matches the frame right beside it that says "Fun, Fun, Fun." And so I wanted to bring some of that pink onto the other side. And here I just have two little tiny photos. One is of my daughter eating some ice cream, and the other one is of the seafood restaurant that we went to. And of course I have tons of pictures of all of the seafood that we ate. We made sure to take advantage of it while we could, because we just don't get fresh seafood out here. So I could probably make a whole album just about the food we ate on this trip. So I'm just putting down the last of these pictures. I love that they're sticky back. It just makes it so easy to figure out where you're going to put them, plop them down. They actually pull up pretty easily. I've sort of gotten myself into the habit of putting them down but not pushing too hard so that I can actually pull them up if I want to. And then right when I'm done, I go back and I really squish them down nice and hard so that they stay. But they do peel off really nicely from embellishments and from this thinner paper. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. And now to do some of those little extra details and embellishing, my favorite part of the layout. So I have some cork hearts here. I've been hoarding them because they are no longer in SpiegelMom Scraps store, but I love how thin they are. They're perfect for a traveler's notebook or project life or things like that. So I'm going to put some hearts in each of these sort of photo clusters. And then I've gone through all my little sequin mixes, and I've pulled out some blue and yellow ones. And this is from Lisa's Starry Night, and I really like this sort of dark blue, and then the yellow gives a nice pop. And then I also pulled out some pink ones there that you can see. And I'm trying to use my tool, my little pickup tool, but the tacky stuff that's in the tip it's melting, or it's extra sticky, so it was harder to use it than to use my fingers. So I'm moving towards using my fingers. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with it. So I'm just putting a few little sequins in each of the clusters, some pink, some blue, some yellow, and then I'm going to use these little tiny letter stickers to spell out the different places that we were. So what I didn't show you is I have some letter stickers that are in the shapes of geotags, and it only comes with 2 of each letter, so I couldn't actually spell out the whole towns or anything like that. But I just pulled the first letter from each one. And then I'm going to fill in the gaps with those craft colored ones and those black ones. And now on this page, because I had some of that really bright pink, and in a few spots it sort of has some of that bluey teal and green, I pulled out the wild and free sequins, and I love how well this coordinates. So I'm going to try and spread out the green to the places that don't have any, and the pink to the places that don't have any, and just add some nice shine to the layout. And now, because I needed some yellow, because I have that car there, that actually was a taxi, but I cut off the taxi from the top, and I'm just going to use it as a car. So I'm going to pull some yellow and add that in. I love that all of these sequin packs can be mixed together. They all coordinate so well together, and in all the packs you have so many different sizes and shapes and styles. So you can see here I have some flat ones, I have big ones, I have flower ones. They're just really perfect to put into this traveler's notebook. And those are my layouts for this week, all done. Thank you so much to Jody and SpiegelMom Scraps for allowing me to guest design again this week. I've been having so much fun with it, and I really appreciate it. If you have questions about her products or questions about this layout, let me know. And go and check out SpiegelMomScraps.com for more information on all the great stuff she has. Talk to you later, everybody. Happy scrapping. Bye.